CWC Energy Services just posted another record quarter, but there are recession fears. What will that mean for the space ahead? We're joined by Duncan. He's the CEO of CWC. Thanks very much for joining us, Duncan.
Thanks for having me on the show, Andrew.
In some ways, you guys, your industry, are the unsung heroes, aren't you? Because you're the ones who actually drill the wells. Can you remind us what CWC does?
Yeah, so CWC Energy Services is a premier contract drilling and well servicing company operating in Canada and the United States with 22 drilling rigs and 143 service rigs, which makes us one of the largest service rig companies in Canada. We are very excited to announce our Q3 results, achieving record revenues, EBITDA, and net income in our 17-year history. And this is really buoyed by our acquisition in the U.S. of 10 triple drilling rigs in November last year.
Sorry to cut you off, Duncan. Where were those rigs in the States? Are they in the Permian?
So we bought these rigs in Wyoming, Casper, Wyoming, and they are 10 triple AC and DC triple drilling rigs, and we bought it in November of last year for 8 cents on the dollar compared to what it would build to build brand new. And we followed that transaction with another further 3 AC triple drilling rigs in the Williston Basin in North Dakota in June of this year for 17 cents on the dollar. And so these two transactions that we just did is really what is driving our record revenues and record EBITDA and record net income. We believe that these two transactions are going to be highly accretive metrics for our shareholders, with the payback expected to be about 1.5 to 2 years. And our balance sheet is extremely strong with the debt to EBITDA ratio of just 1 times by the end of this year. So while it's still early yet, Andrew, we think that 2023 is going to be better than 2022, which should result in another record-breaking year.
How come you're able to get this equipment so cheap?
Well, I think that's really the dynamics that we are currently seeing in our marketplace. I think from a timing perspective, we ended up buying right at the bottom of the cycle in terms of when COVID hit, and other contractors were looking to get out of the business, and we ended up being able to pick up these assets at a great price.
Duncan, you refer in your latest quarterly report to labor shortages. How tough is it getting people, skilled people?
Well, labor shortage continues to be a problem in our industry, Andrew. CWC has been successful in crewing our rigs. We're now about 720 employees strong, with 650 of these employees being field employees. This is up about 100 employees from the pre-COVID numbers in February of 2020, where we had 620 employees. So our challenges are not so much the experienced field hands of rig managers and drillers. Our challenges really are more the bottom end, the entry-level positions of floor hands and derrick hands. We do need young people to realize that they can have a very long-term future in our industry. And on the rigs, and while we're drilling for oil and natural gas today, in the future we're going to be drilling for geothermal, lithium, brine, helium, carbon capture, and saltwater disposal wells, all of which we have done as a company over the last couple of years. Our equipment and our labor continues will be required in the energy transition. And really, to attract these people, CWC over the last 9 months, 10 months, since the beginning of the year really, has increased its compensation by 25% just to attract these people to come to our industry.
25%. That's quite a hike. That's interesting, Duncan. You talked about how you'll be drilling for lithium brine, for example. I think you might have mentioned helium. So I guess that's a pitch. We're not just about oil and gas anymore.
That is correct. I mean, in June of this year, CWC is really proud to have made history drilling the first 2 lithium brine wells in Alberta for our customer. Much like Leduc #1 created a brand new industry in Alberta with Imperial starting that industry in 1947, we think that CWC Iron Hand Drilling's Rig 9 will one day be immortalized in the museums for starting a new industry in Alberta drilling for lithium in 2022.
Oh, good for you. Okay, you think your lithium rig will be immortalized? We'll keep an eye on that. Duncan, we better leave it there. Thank you very much indeed.
Great. Thanks, Andrew.
Duncan, the CEO of CWC Energy.